Hello, my name is Tim. My company is Sports and Touring and we are performance Jaguar specialists. But variety is the spice of life, and I'm delighted that we took this beautiful Mercedes E400 AMG estate in part exchange. It's an amazing car. If you are looking for enormous practicality, great economy of ownership, fabulous technology and equipment, and performance and handling to satisfy the most demanding driver, you have that combination right here in a very beautiful looking car indeed. And it's my pleasure to show you around. The three-pointed Mercedes star, a badge which has remained with the company from its inception, right back at the dawn of the internal combustion engine. And a company which has grown and changed, of course, but always held on to its roots, which are firmly in fine German engineering and beautiful European styling. It's difficult to make an attractive looking estate car. There are various things that designers get wrong. The detail, for example, can be awkward to render, but the way that Mercedes use a mix of chrome and gloss black, I think, is very effective indeed on this E400. The rear windows into the estate compartment can be particularly difficult, but look, I genuinely would have to say that is one of the best treatments I have seen of the rear end of an estate car. And that spoiler on top of the tailgate not only provides a visual punctuation, but also serves its aerodynamic purpose too in reducing drag and making this a very efficient machine indeed for long distance travelling. This car then in selenite grey metallic, arguably I think the most attractive of the colour palette for the present E-Class, sitting on these beautiful 5 twin-spoke 19-inch AMG wheels. It is in very fine order indeed, with hardly any signs that it is not a brand new car. It's clearly been looked after. It has excellent maintenance, servicing history from Mercedes-Benz main dealers, and it has passed all of our tests and inspections faultlessly. Let's take a look inside. We'll sit in the driver's seat shortly and see things from the cockpit perspective, but for now let's take a tour around the interior of the car from the outside, remarking upon these beautiful AMG seats in black Napa leather. The options on this car really were very carefully chosen and make for an exquisite combination of technology and artistry all around it. Everything in very fine condition indeed. As you can see, the seat bolster there at the base and side is in fine order. The carpet mats, dashboard, steering wheel, all as they should be. These gorgeous door cards with the dark wood inserts look extremely good and they are in fine condition. We'll talk about the technology and options there and the seats and so forth in a moment. Coming round to the back seat, often the back of an estate car suffers when the kids are in there with the chocolate and the toys and the crayons, but not so here. I have to remark that the back of this E400 is in stunningly good condition and I suspect has very seldom been used. The leather looks factory fresh, in fact. The armrest, of course, folds out of the way. There are 3 headrests if you're carrying 3 passengers in the rear, or you can have the armrest if there are only 2 passengers with its cup holders and stowage tray. Moving around to the boot, and I think the word I would use is cavernous. There'd be plenty of room with the rear seats down to go camping in this car and simply sleep inside it. It's an enormous space and very easily accessible too. No awkward lip for your luggage to travel over. No things jutting out at the sides to make it awkward transporting that chest of drawers to your aunt's house. And it is all like the rest of the car in stunning order. This carpet here in perfect condition. It lifts up, by the way, to reveal a useful stowage there with the first aid kit and plenty of room for other things. The process of transforming the car into a real load carrier is very easy. Simply remove the parcel shelf and then the button at either side of the estate space there enables you to fold the rear seats away, and you have an enormous flat space for transporting very bulky items. Coming round to the near side, and again we can see that the passenger door card is in perfect order. The contrast stitching, by the way, works so beautifully with this black interior. And again, floor mats in perfect order. The backs of the front seats, which often get a little bit of attention from the youngsters in the rear, are in perfect order. And the rear seat itself, again, I believe, as it left the factory. And coming round to the front passenger seat, again, the door card is unblemished, unmarked, and the tread plate, carpet mat, dashboard, and the beautiful Napa leather seat are all in perfect order. We'll go back round to the driver's side and see things from the driver's perspective. The car's supplied, of course, with two very stylish remote key fobs and the owner's documentation. But there's no need to have the key fob in your hand because keyless entry is a feature. All we need to do is pull the handle and the door unlocks and we can get into the driver's seat and absorb a very beautiful and very technological cockpit. The features in this cockpit are a cut above and a future ahead of a lot of things that we have seen in other manufacturers. So let's take a look at them in some detail, and we'll start perhaps on the door itself with this beautiful set of controls for the driver's seat. Very stylish indeed, but also very ergonomic. It's very easy to grip and use. The switches for the base, the front bolster, the recline and the headrest and so forth. 3 memory settings, of course, and then the seats are Napa leather and heated. So there's the seat heating button, and this usefully enables the driver to use his or her seat controls to move the passenger seat. Of course, all the windows, wing mirrors and so forth, and then here one of the speakers for the very beautiful Burmester sound system. When you've got a large estate car like this, you've got the space to play with the auditory environment and make it very good indeed. And the sound system in this E400 really is sensational. Whether you listen to classical or pop or rock or whatever, it absolutely delivers an almost concert hall sound. I really enjoyed driving this car and listening to the stereo on the journeys that I've made in it. Swinging round to the other side of the driver's seat, and here we have an enormous stowage under the armrest with a couple of USB charging sockets and the SD card holder. And then this very clever combination device here, which on the top is a trackpad, a mouse pad, with the return, forward and home buttons built in there very neatly. Falls beautifully under the hand as well, though, if you're using the control underneath, which is a joystick and a button and a rotary control too. Very clever, very intuitive and very easy to use and ergonomic. The switch packs either side here include the driving mode selector, which enables you to select the different driving modes on this powerful car. And over here, we've got the volume control for the stereo, of course. A useful cubby hole here with the cup holders in, a pair of cup holders which will grip your drinks nice and safely. And then another USB socket, but that one connected to the infotainment system, so that you can use your Android Audio or CarPlay and use the enormous display there to mimic your phone display. The phone goes away in that cubby hole, out of sight, out of mind, out of the way of any trouble with law enforcement, of course, and then you are controlling and using the phone's information and so on that huge screen, which we'll see turned on in just a moment. Forward of here, we've got some buttons for the infotainment and that beautiful Mercedes clock, and then the climate control switching, which is very carefully thought out. Now, you'll notice there are 4 centre air vents. That is the degree of detail that Mercedes have put into making the environment comfortable in this beautiful car. To explore further, we'll start up the engine with the beautiful stop-start button there, and it purrs quietly to life. The instrument panel comes to life there, and we can see that we've got on the left-hand side this beautiful infotainment screen and a very crisp and clear display in front of the driver with various information. And the steering wheel becomes really important here, because on the 2 thumb pads are the controls that you're going to use, for example, to set what you want on the dashboard in front of you. So there we can see at the moment we've got a navigation screen on the right hand side. Under the right thumb we've got some switches, and we've got a little trackpad there. Press that and we can go across and scroll through the variety of information available on the right hand display there. Scroll left and we can scroll through the center screen information, and that's replicated then on the left hand thumb pad in a similar way, so that you can control the main infotainment screen using the controls on it just with your thumb again. Very carefully thought through. The display, by the way, is huge. I'm not going to start going through all of the functions on it. We would be here literally for hours. You will take time to get used to it if you haven't had an identical Mercedes system before, but by learning by discovery, you will find it's a very, very fully featured, very functional and ultimately user-friendly system with that beautiful, huge display as well. Needless to say, we've got rain-sensitive wipers, automatic headlamps, and so forth. It's a beautiful cockpit, and again, in stunning condition, with hardly anything at all to show you that this isn't a brand new car. We'll switch the engine off and have a look under the bonnet. Under the bonnet, and there is the Mercedes 6-cylinder inline power plant, running of course on diesel. And that means that while it's producing 330 horsepower, it's also producing 700 Newton meters of torque. And that is one of the reasons that this Mercedes estate makes it from 0 to 60 in only 0.1 of a second longer than it takes this 380 horsepower Jaguar F-Type. That is an astonishing fact, isn't it? The Mercedes is rewarding to drive though as well. The handling is sharp, the cornering is precise, the weighting of the steering is excellent, and it's all assisted as well by the 4MATIC system, Mercedes 4-wheel drive system that constantly monitors the torque at each wheel, identifies any loss of traction and compensates for that by adjusting the torque being sent to the other wheels around the car. It makes for very precise cornering and very efficient acceleration, even on a wet surface or a loose surface where you might think that grip is going to be an issue. It's a great economical car as well, very impressive fuel consumption figures. This is one of Mercedes' latest lineup of engines, built for economy as much as for speed and power. And it's a beautifully smooth running engine as well, not like some Mercedes engines of the past that we might all have experienced. Again, under the bonnet, you can see everything is in fine order, nothing amiss. The service history is all Mercedes main dealer, and the car was serviced in spring this year. It is ready to go to its next keeper. It's passed all of our inspections without any problems at all, and it drives and functions perfectly. So thank you very much indeed for watching. It's been a great pleasure to show you this beautiful Mercedes E400. We're Sports and Touring. We're just outside Andover in Hampshire. We're open 7 days a week by appointment only. You're very welcome to telephone, email or WhatsApp us with any questions, or if you'd like to come and see this car in person or view it by video call. We can send you a link to the Google Drive. That's our online folder with higher resolution photos which you can zoom in on, and PDF copies of important documents about the car. If on your buying journey you've got a car to dispose of, we'll give you frank and honest advice about the best way to achieve the maximum value with the minimum inconvenience. And if you'd like to chat about finance, we can do that as well. We're authorised and regulated by the FCA, and we work with a really brilliant broker. Do please take a few moments to read our reviews in Auto Trader. I'm very proud indeed of the things our previous customers have chosen to say about us. And I'll close by saying thank you again. Do feel free to like and subscribe to us here on YouTube, and we will look forward to hearing from you very soon.